But take a look at this. This is a very special tea. You see the leaves?
Yeah.
Have you had these?
No, never. This looks so good.
It's a very interesting tea. It's called typing hook. I don't know how to read the. How do you read this part?
Ooh, I don't know. I say
Hokui?
huku, but I'm not sure.
Typing huku.
I'm actually not positive. I can Google that.
So it is very mild. It has very mild flavor. I have to actually grab these and take them out.
Oh, that looks so cool.
Yeah, I usually put them on this thing and show it to this camera so people can see it too. So yeah, let's make some of that first.
It's got a nice relaxing setup here.
Thank you.
Is that a thermos?
Yeah, so
Wow.
I put hot water in a thermos. So first of all, for green teas especially,
Okay, so how we pronounce the
because we have a lot of different
second
teas,
part
I'm just
there?
making a little bit.
the first part is pronounced like hi, like hello, and the second part is pronounced like coat, but without the T. So
I have a hot cup of tea right now. I'm so cold and so thirsty.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Let this brew for a second. So we are on episode 14 of World of Tea podcast. Today we have Dr. Stephanie Liu, physician and professor at the University of Alberta and founder of Dr. Mom skincare products. I first I met you at the restaurant Vintage Fork back in the day.
Yes.
At that time, I remember you just had the Instagram account and you were sharing information with people about, for moms. I think it was a community of moms and you're giving them medical advice. I give you some tea. This is just going to be light in color like that.
I love tea, so this is awesome. And yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm a family physician, a prof at the assistant professor at the University of Alberta, mom of Maddie and Georgie, and founder, CEO of By Dr. Mom Skincare. This looks awesome. Thank you so much. I love tea.
Well, I hope you like this one. It's hot. Just be careful. So I was first thing I want to ask you is how did you decide to go beyond being a doctor and a professor at the university? What inspired you to become an entrepreneur and start a company?
Yeah. So I actually never thought that I was going to be an entrepreneur. I started my page, Dr. Mom, because when I had my daughter Maddie, Maddie's now 8 years old. I looked online for like things that I thought there'd be good information, like sleep training and breastfeeding tips, and I actually found that there was quite a bit of misinformation online. So I wanted to start a page that was evidence-based, so rooted in science, but at the same time that was relatable, because I found that some of the really good, credible information out there, it felt kind of cold. And so what I wanted to do was to create information that was educational, backed in science, but almost felt like a warm hug. So yeah, so that was part of it. And the reason I came up with Dr. Mom was because I'm a doctor and a mom. And when I looked that up, I was actually shocked to see that no one had taken that handle on Instagram. And so felt like it was meant to be. So I took it on all the social media platforms. And then with time, I started doing some TV segments. I started, doing some writing. I wrote a little bit for the National Post. And yeah, it just grew. So now I guess my nickname is Dr. Mom, which I think is pretty catchy and I like it.
So you made a pretty big community. You have like 100,000 followers on Instagram, quite a bit of following. I think same amount on Facebook. And
Yeah.
Are you on TikTok too?
I am on TikTok too. It's funny because even though it's growing, it still feels small. Like I still feel like I'm able to connect with people. I still love responding to people's comments. I really like it because I never really thought of myself as a creative person, but social media has allowed me to be creative. It's a creative outlet for me. It's fun. yeah, I've actually really enjoyed the process.
It's something that's very interesting and striking about you. I first of all, people might not know, but we've known each other for a long time.
Really long time, yeah.
Quite at least I think probably 6 years.
Yes.
I met you first at a restaurant. You hired me for catering at the time.
Yes.
I was cooking. So and I was impressed at the time. I was like, oh, like she's a doctor and she also does Instagram and social media so well, you know. For a lot of people, doing one of those things is a lot. And being a mom on top of that, just being a mom, people quit their job and just stay home, you know, like,
Yeah.
how are you able to do so much and kind of, you also are successful at all of the things you're doing. Like you have a really strong social media presence. Your business is thriving, from what I understand. So I think you're in quite a few retail stores. How
Yeah.
many?
We're a little over 600 retailers. But I was gonna say, first off, what you're saying is super nice. I really appreciate it. But you know what's crazy? As I've started doing more in my life, it's impossible to be really good at everything. So like I think on the superficial level, it probably looks like, oh yeah, Stephanie's like still working as a doctor. She's like a mom and she's got a company that is growing, which I'm very thankful for. But you know, I listened to this talk. I think it was Shonda Rhimes, like the person that created Bridgerton, and what she said, and it rings so true to me, is that it's trade-offs, right? Like when I'm really doing good at work and I'm helping my patients, I'm accessible to them, the company is growing and thriving, something has to take a backseat. And that's when my kids don't get the time that they need with me. But vice versa, like I am very adamant that we take family vacations every 6 weeks, and we're very blessed to do that. And at those times when I'm away, people know that I'm not as responsive. I'm not getting work done. My patients can't get a hold of me. I have another physician covering. So it's honestly trade-offs. So I don't even know if I'm balancing things great. I'm actually here 45 minutes late for the time I was supposed to be here for the podcast because I was stuck in a meeting and I, wanted to check in with the kids, and it's trade-offs. And like another thing that I don't know if many people know, but I was a stay-at-home mom for almost a year. I would commute back and forth and work 2 weeks, but for 4 weeks in a row. So this was my work schedule. It's kind of confusing. So my husband was working, doing his fellowship in Atlanta, Georgia, and at that state I couldn't practice medicine. So what I would do is I'd be at home looking after Maddie full time when we were in Atlanta for 4 weeks, and then I'd fly home to Edmonton and work for 2 weeks, and fly back to Atlanta and be a stay-at-home mom for 4 weeks in a row. And I'll say being a stay-at-home mom is a full-time job. I was exhausted, and the craziest thing was sometimes I would get through a day and I'd be like, oh my gosh, what happened? All felt like I did was feed Maddie, play with Maddie, do a little bit of laundry, cook, and I was like, the day is gone, and I couldn't believe it. So yeah, so right now I think there's a few things. Life is trade-offs. I've got amazing supports. I have an amazing full-time nanny, Minerva. I have a great, assistant that helps me, and I have a chief operational officer that's helping lead the By Dr. Mom Skincare, Marie. So I have a lot of supports, and I'm not balancing everything
So
perfectly.
you've delegated something,
I've delegated.
which is good.
This tea is really good.
I just wanted to learn more about. Thank you so much. This is typing haiku.
Oh yes,
Haiku?
what did we figured out? It's like hi and like coat, but without the T. So haiku.
Typing haiku. Yeah, it's a Chinese tea. It's very interesting. It has long leaves and
I love
very, very long leaves. And it's a very, very mild tea. And it's supposed to be that way. Like I researched it a little bit because we've tried it before, and I thought it was very, very subtle in flavor. And it's supposed to be very light in color and very subtle in flavor. As you see, even when it's sitting, it's not getting really dark.
I do really like this one though. Yeah,
It's a
nice subtle.
It's really good.
So can you tell us a little bit more about your products, and I wanted to ask you. I always have this, you know, from my own experience, and a lot of people, successful people that I've talked to, I've spoken to, they tell me that it was never success on the first, you know,
Yeah.
try. So, first of all, tell us about your very successful product, skincare product. Also, like, I want to know more about your failures and how many products did you come up with before
Yeah.
this one succeeded, or, you know, tell us about some of the challenges that you had to face to get here.
Yeah. So, I'll say that I think that a lot of times life, business is trial and errors, exactly as you said. And, initially I didn't even know that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. There were a few things that came up that I tried. I wrote a few books, which was a really fun experience, but, it's really hard to really get, unless you're kind of a well-known author, to really get growth with books. So first I started writing children's books, but that didn't really excite me. It was a little bit exciting. And then I actually tried with your amazing wife. We did little baby clothing.
I remember that.
We did.
Yeah.
And we tried it. We made a very small scale, and I would say it was incredibly fun. The issue was we wanted to really keep our products in Canada. And we found that, with especially for clothing manufacturing small scale, it's really hard to be able to scale up. So for me, that was an amazing, fun experience, but we kind of knew early on that we weren't going to be able to grow that. And then those experiences I think were critical because it taught me, what do you need for margins? What do you need for scalability? What do you need for distribution? All of those things. And then something very serendipitous fell into my lap. I mentioned earlier I'm a professor at the University of Alberta, and we get to learn about all of the new art research and development. And one new research project that they did was a new method for extracting beta glucan. So that's a fiber that's found in oats and barley. And they were using that technology to extract beta glucan, but they were using it as a fiber supplement. And when I first read that article, I said, oh, why does beta glucan sound so familiar to me? And then I realized where I heard it from first. And that was one of my passions, and how I would like to relax at night is reading about K-beauty stuff. And in Korea and Asia, beta glucan is used a lot in skincare because it's very hydrating. It actually has some anti-aging properties, and it can heal the skin. And so what I did, I said, oh my gosh, this is really cool. But I was like, I want to get another opinion. So I reached out to one of my colleagues, Dr. Ling. She's an allergist. And I said, Ling, can you look at this and see like what you think about the science behind beta glucan is? And she looked at it and she's like, actually the evidence is pretty good that, beta glucan can work for skincare. So we teamed up with the University of Alberta, and then we developed two products. The first is a single ingredient concentrated beta glucan bath. So that was product one. We just shared it online on our social media, and we just shipped it out through Shopify. So it was very basic, just to see if there was like intake, if people were interested, and it went viral. People loved it. And as we started getting more of a following and interest, people said, hey, you know what, Stephanie, could you make a cream? Because sometimes like some people don't like sitting in bath water because it feels yucky. And what if we have a lesion on the face? So we took that same active ingredient and then made it into a cream. And that has really taken off. And so it's been really exciting because, we first started with a Shopify account. We shipped everything ourselves, actually with the help of your wife too. And then it started growing. Then we went to, independent pharmacies close by and just reached out to them. I actually went to the first 50 pharmacies myself. We got it in there. And then I went to some of the dermatology clinics, Nakasui Dermasurgery, Rejuvenation, Skin Physicians, and they tried the product. The physicians liked it. They started retailing it there. And then we started expanding into the big box retailers. So London Drugs, Federated Co-op, TNT Supermarket. And then in 2026 this year, we're going to be launching into Loblaws.
Oh, well,
Wow,
that's big.
amazing.
Yeah. So, I feel really, really blessed, really, really fortunate. And so it really shows me that it's, keep continuing to work on not giving up on your business. But also you need a little bit of luck. I got lucky with the beta glucan.
I mean, you tried quite a few things.
I did, yeah.
And it's, I think you made your own luck in a way, I would say.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I think you're right in many ways, but you know the skincare market is highly competitive, and you need something that sets you apart. And I think what really sets us apart is that, you know, we're a natural skincare line, but we're actually rooted in science. And, you know, to me, that's really, really exciting for me.
And I can say with confidence that it works because I tried it myself. I had and I was telling you earlier, like I had dry skin, and I always like just suffer through life.
Yeah.
I never address things that bother me for a long time. Usually, like I just you know scratch myself and just for like 10 years I was just scratching myself because
Yeah.
I've been in I think I had dry skin since I came to Alberta like 3 or 4 years in.
You know what? The Alberta climate, it is really bad for causing dry skin, causing eczema flares. And, you know, the other reason why I was really pushed to do the skincare was I love being a family doctor. For me, it's like I will never stop doing that job. And my patients were actually my inspiration to really continue with this and really see how far we could take it because they were the ones, anytime I prescribe a topical steroid for like skin irritation, eczema, they would always be really reluctant to use, and they'd say, you know, Dr. Lee, we're kind of nervous using a topical steroid, especially if it's for like our little one. And so when I came across the beta glucan, I saw all the science, I was like, I need to make this product.
Is there pressure to recommend certain medication? Is there a push to
Yeah.
to recommend certain medication more than others?
So I'll say in my, like how I practice medicine is I listen to anytime someone that's in the pharmaceutical industry wants to talk to me, I'm always open to listen because I think that to be the type of physician I want to be as up to date as possible. And like we're living in 2025 where we have access to a whole bunch of new clinical trials. I don't want to be practicing like I'm in the 1800s where I'm just like, okay, I'll ignore any new type of progress. So for me, I try to listen to everyone that wants to meet with me. And then I take a look at the evidence and I say, you know what do I think of the studies? Were these studies, are there confounding things in these studies where I can't trust the data? But ultimately, I make the decision, and my decision's based on one: do I believe in the science that's presented to me? Two, do I think it's right for my patient? And three, like, is this something that I believe will significantly improve my patient's health? And that's how I make the decisions.
Okay, that's good to know, and
Right?
that's
Wouldn't
kind
you
of
want a doctor instead of being fearing anything new and saying, "Oh no, I don't want to listen to you," because you're from? It's being open and listening to everyone, and then taking that information and then deciding what's credible and what's not.
when people go online and they just like follow anything or like the before marijuana was legal, for example, I would see online like a lot of people like recommend it as medicine. Like it'll like solve all your problems. You just smoke marijuana. You won't get a heart attack. You won't like
Yeah.
it'll like cure your cancer. You know, but now that it's legal and a lot of people like bought into a lot of this stuff. Now I'm hearing a lot of negative things that,
Yeah.
oh my God, like it is causing all these problems. And
Like that, I think what you're touching on is something that why I started my blog is there's a lot of misinformation out there, and sometimes it's confusing because when you listen to someone and they speak with such conviction and they're like, I'm 100% certain this will make you better, it almost makes you kind of believe them more, right? And that's why I think that when you see something online, the first thing that I recommend is always question it, right? Don't ever take anything at face value because it could be true, but it might be false too, right? And that's why I think that, one of the things that I like that we're doing is we're discussing things. And I say to my patients, if they ever, have a disagreement or say, you know what, Dr. Liu, I don't know if I agree with you, I always ask them to like question me and say, you know what, do I actually need this medication? Is this actually the best thing for me? And that's how people learn together, is by asking each other questions. For instance, I didn't know what was in this tea. Tastes delicious, but I said, hey, can you explain it to me? It's the same thing. I think open communication, if people we're more open to open communication, asking questions and being willing to explain what your rationale is, I think things would be a lot better.
That's true. So question everything you see online.
Can I get more tea? This
Yes,
is really
of
good.
course. So I'm trying to get you to take a look at this. This is called
Okay.
Golden Eyebrow.
Can I smell it?
Yeah, of course. It is. It's called Jinjun Mei. This is another one from China. I don't know why. I'm just we decided to do all the Chinese teas. Maybe because of your Chinese background.
Yeah, I like it.
So, and because they're really good, and
Really
I really
good.
wanted to give you the best we can. So I make this one.
Sorry, this isn't related, but I'm curious. How long have you been a doctor? Like, when did you finish your degree?
I've been a little over 10 years, 11 years.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So then you started the business like relatively after becoming licensed.
It was about like 4 or 5 years after.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So in this way of making tea, it's usually very quick, and it's also I like it a lot also because it cools down really quick. We can start drinking it right away. When you have a big cup of tea, it's just like takes forever to cool down,
Yeah.
and you know, so
I can drink things when they're warm, really hot too. That's what my husband's always so impressed about. Oh,
We
this
can
is
keep
so
going.
good.
It's
This
just
is one of
like
my
I can
favorites.
This
kind
is
of-
so good.
This is one of the best teas in my opinion. Like I really love this one.
This is the best.
So we talked about how many products you've been through. I didn't even remember you had a book. You had a few books?
I had a few books. So the books weren't ever meant to be a business. It was just something fun, and I think they're still online. You can probably still find them on Amazon. The first one was Maddie Monkey Learns the Body, because I wanted to teach my daughter like basic anatomy. I was like, oh, these are the ears, this is the nose, and so it was just for my daughter. And why we started the book was my daughter's babysitter. It was her dream when we were in Atlanta to be able to illustrate a book, and I said, okay, deal. I'll write it, you illustrate it, and that was it. So we made a book. So that was the first one. Then the second one was Maddie's mom goes to work, because my daughter would get really, upset when I would leave to go to work. And so it was about how I'd be away at work, but doing cool things. So it would show like, oh, maybe I was an astronaut. Maybe I was, a bus driver driving kids safely to school. Maybe I was a doctor. All of these cool careers out there. And then the next book was actually when COVID hit. So it was for my son, Georgie Shark, and COVID-19. And it was just explaining to kids why the world was so strange at that time.
And touching on the work thing and kind of being challenging with being a mom and the work, how do you balance all of those things?
Yeah, so I don't think I'm trying my best to balance my work, my company, my kids, my husband, everything well, but there's times that I'm not balancing it perfectly. And I don't think that anyone, when there's a lot of things going on, can balance things perfectly, because there's only so much time in a day. But the one thing that I've learned, and I've heard a lot of great speakers say this, that you can have it all, but just not at the same time. And that's because life is trade-offs. I'm here doing the podcast with you, Salar, so I'm not at school picking up my kids. Someone else is doing it, right? Tonight I have a dinner meeting with colleagues, so I'm not able to spend the evening with my kids. But at the same time, next week we're going away on a family vacation. And at that time, I get to dedicate all of me to my family. And then at that time, my work and everything's getting put on the back burner. So I feel lucky that I get to do everything that I love, but I just don't get to do it all at the same time.
But you compartmentalize,
Yeah.
kind of like break things up,
Yeah.
make sure that you have that vacation time, you have that, you give your focus to a couple of things and make sure that those get enough at different times,
Exactly.
kind of like.
Yeah, and
But that is balancing it though, right? Like
it
I
is.
feel
it's
like
a little bit
I feel like and I I think I got this feeling, and this is something I learned when playing soccer, for example, or even working online in the kitchen. So I would have times where like I would be like, this is a mess, everything falling apart on like a busy Saturday in the restaurant on the line, and like, orders are flying and things are falling behind and whatever, and in the kitchen side, in the back of the house, it would look like a real shit show, and like everyone is screaming, yelling, losing their minds, and then after like things would cool down a little, I would walk into the dining room, and everyone would be like so happy, so calm, sitting and just eating their soup,
Yeah.
and like I'd be like, oh, okay, like it seems like we did it, and it's, and I feel like when you're juggling a bunch of different things, and when there is like really challenging times, at the same time I feel like you are aware of all of those things, but from outside it doesn't seem that way.
Well, that's good to hear. And I think that by having all the other aspects of my life, like the work, the company, I'm really able to cherish moments more. Like even bedtime, sometimes it's a little frustrating when I'm tired. I'm like, well, let's go to bed, kids. But sometimes I just love just literally reading the book, cuddling, having this quiet time with my kids and not knowing about anything else that's going on, and I love it. And one of the reasons some of my patients say this too is like when I'm in my family medicine practice on my Mondays and Wednesdays, they can tell that I really want to be there because that's what's on my mind at that point. And I think what you said is right. It's compartmentalizing, right? So when I'm with my family, I focus on them. When I'm at work, I focus on my patients. And then when I'm thinking about my company and working in my company, that's all that's on my mind too.
That's something I fail at. I pick big words like compartmentalizing, and then I can't say them sometimes.
No.
How did you become such a pro at social media? Like, what was the process? How did it start? How long did it take you to gain traction like that?
So what's interesting about social media is I'm still learning. Like I think that it's every day is a learning experience because you get to put out content and immediately you can figure out if it's connecting with your audience or not. And so for me, it's been a lot of trial and error, and it's been a way to test creativity and also to understand like the direction I want to go. I started my page 6 years ago, I think. Yeah, 6 years ago. And at that time, it was only like photos of my family, and with a little bit of health information. Now it's transitioned to mainly videos, and a lot of the content too is also my TV segments on CTV or the morning show. And so it's constantly evolving. Every single day I'm learning more about social media. I'm learning more how to connect. I'm learning kind of those new ways of editing. And I think that for growth, I think the biggest predictor of whether or not you're going to grow on social media is one, consistency. Just keep showing up. The second thing is like, are you able to adapt and kind of, understand what your community wants and be able to help give them the information in a way that they like. And I think the other factor is like, are you relatable? And I like to think that I'm relatable. I like to think that people would want to sit and have a cup of coffee with me or something. So I think that's another factor that plays a role.
I think because I followed you on social media for a long time now, and I see a lot of things you post, and I feel like it's also a lot of it is very useful.
Oh, thank you.
I think you answer a lot of questions that people might actually benefit from.
That's my goal. I want to help people. Like that's, yeah.
I'm
So
going to
thank
go
you
home
for
and check
saying
it out.
that.
As soon as you said it was all about Mythbusters, I'm also super into like health and science.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, I see your videos about like you post little things about. I see all the time about very very daily mundane
like
things
sleep
that
things, why
sleep
sleep's
thing.
important.
Yeah, very things that are, and you know what? I think people need to be reminded a lot of times. You might be saying the same things we know sometimes,
Yeah.
but even that is really good.
Yeah.
I I like the repetition of
Yeah.
being reminded of the things that I already know, I've already heard before. Just hearing one time somewhere that sleep is important, I think is not enough.
Yeah.
What makes you really implement things, helps you implement things, is seeing it and hearing it over and over again, and
Totally.
being reminded all the times. Because when I go online and I sleep, Dr. Mom says, "Oh, sleep is important." I'm likely that day to be like, okay, like let's take care of my sleep. You know what I mean?
I love that.
So, but I obviously we all know it's important,
Yeah.
but sometimes we just like, we get into, zone in on something and
Totally.
forget,
Totally.
And a question about health.
Okay.
How many cups of coffee is too many?
Okay.
And-
So for me,
And I have a follow-up question after.
Okay. Well, moderate consumption of coffee. So for me, I need to look at the definition, but I normally say for my patients to not have more than 2 cups of coffee a day. There's actually some studies that say that coffee can be good for your health too. For me, I normally say I max out at 2. The reason is more than that can really affect your sleep. It can increase your heart rate, increase your blood pressure if you're having too much caffeine.
And it can affect your digestion too, I believe.
Well, sometimes when I have like too much coffee and empty stomach, it can hurt my tummy too. Yeah.
So what about tea? How many cups of tea is too many?
So that depends on the caffeine content, right?
This is called Da Hang Pao.
Okay.
This is also another Chinese tea,
Ooh.
if you want to give it a smell.
Let's see.
And as you can see, all these teas we're trying to today, these are basically our luxury line, and these are all whole leaves. There is loose leaf, which is
Yeah.
but there is loose leaf that is broken up a
Yeah.
lot, and then there is these like whole leaf loose leaves that are usually tea buds.
So good.
Really like cream of the crop, as you might say.
So are those like it's like a little teapot or what is
They're
that?
called gaiwans,
Okay.
and they have this thing they do that brings out the smell.
Wow. Smells great.
And tea has less caffeine than coffee, right?
I think there's some teas that have higher though, right?
Yeah.
Like matcha
there's
might have
Let me
higher.
look up the tea levels.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think black
look
one.
at like how much caffeine.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Matcha versus coffee, for example, because I think matcha would have the highest caffeine because
Really?
it's powdered and you're actually ingesting it. So let's try this one.
That looks great.
So this is a interesting one. I actually have to we have to not drink this first wash, so we give it to the tea pets.
Okay, I found this looks like a pretty good infograph on the tea contents, helpfully. So caffeine-free, herbal, and rooibos. And then, so this is from like least amount of caffeine to most amount of caffeine. And then it goes decaf, white tea, green tea, oolong tea, black tea, then matcha, and then mate, and then coffee.
So coffee does have twice as much as even
And yeah,
almost
so
twice as
for
much as matcha.
comparison, mate
Interesting.
is 70 to 85 milligrams, and coffee is 125 to 150 milligrams.
Do you guys have matcha here too?
We do have.
We do. We have a couple actually.
I think we have the best matcha that you can get outside Japan
Wow.
because so I did a lot of trial and error. Like
Yeah.
I did bring in. Actually, can you grab that? It's right on there. That you see the matcha tin.
Oh yes, I do.
We do have the best matcha in the world. This was $200.
Oh my gosh. This matcha was $200.
Yeah, it's like 30 grams of matcha was $200, and there is still some. I'll make you some. You can try it before you leave.
This is crazy. How many cups of matcha will this make then?
2 grams serving, 15.
15. Don't waste it on me. I'm not even a matcha expert. This is $200 for this amount of matcha. That's
Yes.
crazy.
So unless you go for that type of matcha,
Yeah.
yes, that matcha is better than what we have.
Wow.
But outside that, if you want like a reasonably priced everyday matcha,
Yeah.
we have really amazing matcha.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people don't drink straight matcha. So
Yeah.
that matcha is meant
Yeah.
to be just
Yeah, most
you
people
just
do a latte.
Straight.
you just straight drink it straight
Yeah.
for like ceremonial grade matcha, right?
Yeah.
And what I find is a lot of companies are claiming they have ceremonial grade, and I've tried their matcha. It's not. It's not as smooth. It's bitter, and we could essentially pack our matcha in tins and say it's ceremonial, but we wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I have a hard time honestly doing stuff like that, and it
Good.
just baffles me like
Yeah.
how many companies that just get mediocre matcha that's worse than ours and they call it ceremonial. It's
Yeah.
just strange to me.
This is really good too. I really yeah, I have had we were in Japan in March, April, and we went for the matcha ceremonies, which was such a beautiful experience. But I do like drinking matcha lattes more. I know it's not ceremonial, but it tastes so good.
Yeah, yeah, and most people drink matcha as lattes
Yeah.
or in other drinks like I think mostly latte.
Yeah.
And we do lattes here, and we do have matchas different. We have like Earl Grey matcha and
Ooh.
pumpkin spice matcha. So
Cool.
we do make London Fog matcha
Ooh,
drinks.
Interesting.
So it's pretty good. So give this a smell. I don't know if you smelled matcha, but like this is, and they go to such
That's so good.
they go to such extremes. It's Japanese culture is just like that. I think it's just like they get really
Oh, totally.
intense about everything. They go to such extremes, like they put like sugar cane in the soil to get
Get a
get
little
it
sweet.
push it to
Interesting.
sweeter side, and
Wow,
and
interesting.
they do a lot of things like that. They shade the last 60 days of the growth. They shade the leaves so it doesn't get too much sun, so it turns greener and also smoother, sweeter.
Cool.
It has the process is very interesting for sure. How do you get all the energy? Because I feel like you're just like a powerhouse. Like
You're so kind. I'll tell you right now, I'm actually feeling, I get tired too. Even today, I'm like, I feel a little bit tired right now. But I just had that cup of tea and now I feel energized. I think it's easy to be energized when you really like what you're doing. Like I hope I don't sound like a crazy person, but I literally wake up so amped up for the day. I'm so jacked, ready to start my day because I feel so blessed that I like everything that I'm doing. I'm really enjoying this too. I'm enjoying talking to you, Salar. I'm enjoying the tea. Like, this is fun. I really love being a family doctor and seeing my patients. Like, it's busy work and it's, sometimes administrative stuff I don't like, but I really like that too. I really enjoy being on social media, connecting with people. So I feel energized because it's the stuff that you like doing. It's like the same thing, like on Christmas. People are energized because, like little kids are, because they like Christmas. You feel it. I think it's harder to put energy into things that you don't like.
And do you think part of it is also mindset? Like you're maybe more of a positive person? Do you feel?
I don't.
Do you get down on things? Do you
I
usually
totally get
see
down on things.
positive side of things, or do you in your mind? I wonder, like, because I feel like this is something I've been working on, is that it takes a certain mentality to kind of like believe in being able to do things. Like you don't see all negative sides of things, and if you don't want to do something, you can find a million reasons, in a way.
Yeah.
But like I feel like some people have just disbelief in themselves. So it's like I just can't do anything, like because and I say that because you wrote books, you've grown a great social media. Becoming a doctor in itself is something that like very few people can accomplish. But on top of that, you've done all these different things. I feel like there must be some sort of mental strength there that
Well,
you kind of believe in yourself or believe that you can do stuff.
I really, really, really appreciate your kind words. I think you're right. I think when you want to become an entrepreneur, you want to start something, the first place it starts is like internally. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe that you can do it, you don't believe that you're going to achieve that milestone, no one else can believe you. It's the same thing when to start the Dr. Mom company, we were started by 5 physicians, me, and we all put in money into this. We didn't have a business plan or anything, but I had an insane belief that we were going to start a skincare line and compete in one of the most competitive markets. And I believed myself. I believed in myself that I could do it. And when my colleagues and friends said, you know what, Stephanie really thinks she can do this, that got them to trust in me and jump on that bandwagon and put their money into. So I think you're right. You have to have that mindset to have this belief. And sometimes it's going to have to feel a little bit crazy, because if you think about all of the negative stuff right off the bat, it's really hard to get started. But at the same time, now as we're growing, as a good CEO and founder, I always have to be aware of worst case scenario too, because if I'm not, then I'm not responsible to the ones that trusted in me, invested with me. So it's that balance. You have to believe in yourself, but at the same time, you can't close your eyes and hide out all of the negativity there.
And when you started skincare business, did you start from the beginning with partners?
Yeah, I did, because I wanted to create something where it was safe, effective, and really rooted in science. And even though I'm a physician already, I really wanted like the brightest brains that are part of it. So we have Dr. Ling, who's a very well-known, prolific allergist. We have Dr. Pandya, who's actually one of the first females that's going to be going to space, Canadian physician astronaut. We have Dr. Yulia Kolodenko, who's a family physician but has an interest in obstetrics, so she also delivers babies and sees a lot of pregnant people, a lot of infants. So I wanted her expertise too, because our product is really designed also for children, but also for pregnancy too, because of its safety. And then I needed a clinical pharmacist who has really good knowledge in compounding and also pharmaceutical knowledge. So we have Aaron Manchuk. So when I started this, I said, I need to believe in myself, but I also need to have the right team to do this. And that's why I said, I cannot do this alone. I need experts too.
I think that's, for example, for myself, it's a little bit of a mental block because I have a lot of good ideas. Sometimes I like even in this business, the tea business, for example, I have a hard time giving out equity in the business, right? Whereas like if I brought people in who are better than me in doing certain things, we might be able to scale up and grow much faster.
Yeah.
You know, and it's interesting that that's how you start at this time, you know, and we'll keep that for whenever you.
Oh, this smells so good. It's like floral.
It's jasmine, yeah. It's
Oh, it
called
smells
jasmine
good.
yin ha. It's the most jasmine tea
Yeah.
that.
You know what I will
will-
say? One of the hardest things about social media is that sometimes it can be hurtful. Like not everyone online is gonna like you, and sometimes people are so mean. They don't. When you're online, people probably don't even think of you as human, right? And so, I would say one of the hardest things as I've grown my company and grown the social media is I'm a sensitive person. When people don't like me, it like really hurts my feelings. And so that's one of the big things that I think I've had to overcome. I still haven't totally overcome it, but it's you have to learn to not let sometimes people's thoughts and perceptions of you hurt you. And one of the things that I do when I feel like I'm getting a mean comment or someone's like, oh, like, you know, I feel like judging me without even knowing me, there's this amazing quote by Kurt Cobain. And what he says is, I'd rather be hated for the person I am than loved for the person I'm not. And I always think of that because, you know, when people are like, say these like comments about me, I am getting to the stage where I know who I am. I know what my standards are. I know what my principles are. And if they don't like me, that's okay, because who I'm presenting is who I am. and that's fine. And so that's been something that's been hard to overcome, but in some ways it's kind of freeing, kind of a good thing.
Yeah, it's a growth thing in a way. Like you've grown out of something
Yeah.
that is maybe a limiting factor.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have that.
Yeah, it still hurts me. Every time I get a mean comment, it still hurts me, but I don't hold on to it the way I used to.
It's it's an interesting perspective there. I don't know. We're so lucky that we haven't yet gotten any of that, and I feel like in your field maybe people are less forgiving, or you know what I mean? Because Sarah even was telling me, because she was shipping some of your products, and she was like, sometimes Stephanie's customers are very like
Critical, yeah.
yeah, very
Like about
critical.
the
And
level. Well, I don't want to say critical because we want to hold the highest standard. But, you know, when you're selling at a volume, you know, and you're on Amazon Prime and, you know, you're delivering hundreds and hundreds of product, it's people when they get the package and, you know, the label's a little bit rubbed because it was sometimes with the delivery, people can be a little bit rough and they're commenting on that. It sometimes does bother me, but I try to remember, I said, you know what, I want to just try as much as I can to maintain the highest standard. But yeah, it's sometimes hard.
but like, why for the label? You know, like, and you're saying like when
I know.
when you're mass marketing something, when something is, as you said, like our product is not in 700 retail stores yet, right? Like,
Yeah.
if we grow to that size, we might start getting some of that
Yeah.
probably, because not everyone is the same
Yeah.
when it comes to those things.
Yeah, like early on when we would send out products, people thought of us more as like mom and pops, right? Like they knew that it was like me or someone on the team that was shipping it out to them. So I think in that mindset, they're like, oh, like, you know what, Stephanie's probably busy and just didn't do like package it completely perfectly, and in that sense they're more forgiving. But now I think they think of us as more of like a large scale thing.
Yeah, when you're in
Which is-
Loblaws, you're
That's not till 2026 though. But yeah, when you're in London Drugs and places like that, I think people think of you as more of like a company, a corporate thing. But, you know, we still have such a small, intimate team. And, you know, I actually still, most of the emails, most of the complaints, most of them are actually managed by me. So I'm still interacting because I want to know what people's complaints and concerns are.
Especially because like your name is on the
Yeah.
product. You want to be proud of it.
Exactly.
And you're right. I saw your operation. It's not.
No.
It's not like a crazy big warehouse
No.
or whatever. It's like 4 people making the product.
No, our manufacturer is it's large scale now, but our fulfillment center is like really really small.
You folks are growing fast.
Yeah, you know what, it excites me. Like my dream
Because it was
is-
last year when I went to the place. I think not even a year ago. I went to that place. You remember? I went to drop something for you, help with something.
yes,
and,
yes, I do.
And maybe that place is not as small as I think.
Yes, we've actually scaled up since then too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
How do you like this one?
it's good. My favorite was still, I would say, the one that you said you
The
liked.
second
too.
one, that's
Yeah.
the Jinjun Mei, yeah.
Yeah.
That one's so good.
So you're more of a black tea person?
I think so. Guys, do we have any more questions or we're good?
I think we're good. This is it for today.
How do you think it went? I gotta call.
I think it was good. It was just a little bit over an hour.